I'll be doing my book talk on The Marshmallow Test by Walter Mischel. And originally, I picked up this book because I heard about the experiment from my dad, and we had briefly talked about it before, so I was interested in seeing what the book had to talk about it. And I was also interested because I wanted to know more about the topic of self control, because I am an avid procrastinator, and I wanted to see if it talked about any of the reasons why we procrastinate or how to work on preventing procrastination, since that is pretty much self control. And this book was mostly centered about the marshmallow test, which Walter Mischel helps do. And it's really an experiment where they place a preschooler in a room with a table and a treat like a marshmallow on it, but only one. And then they tell the preschooler that if they ring the bell, they can eat the treat right away. But if they wait for a certain period of time without eating the treat or ringing the bell, then they can have more treats, which is like 2 marshmallows or something like that. And that's only the really basic version of the experiment, but they also had other variations where they do things like add in a clown toy that would constantly be bugging them to eat the treat, or just go for it and not wait at all. And they changed up the types of treats also. And they also had something where they would tell the preschoolers different strategies to try and wait longer to get more treats. So they tell them like, hey, try thinking about something else, or try focusing on this and make it seem like the treat isn't there yet. When conducting this experiment, they used fMRIs, and they found that the prefrontal cortexes that dealt with effective problem solving, creative thinking, and control of impulsive behavior were more active in the preschoolers who waited longer for the more treats. And on the flip side, the ventral striatum, which deals with desire, pleasure, and addictions in the more primitive part of the brain, was more active in the preschoolers who went for the treats right away. And the marshmallow test was more of a longitudinal study, so they caught up with the parents of the children later on in their lives. And they found that the students who waited longer for the treats ended up with higher SAT scores and lower BMIs than their counterparts who had gone for the treats right away. And this experiment tested what Mischel calls the hot and cool systems of the brain. The hot system is the emotional and reflexive and unconscious thing that happens when you first see something and you just have this reaction right away. Whereas the cool system is more of the cognitive, reflective, and slower and more thoughtful part of the brain, I guess. And it deals with cognitions that take longer time that you have to really think about. And the cool system was really what allowed the children to wait longer for the marshmallows, because they went past the hot system and they activated their cool systems to be able to think like, hey, I want more treats, and that would make me happier in the future, so I want to wait for them rather than eat this one treat right now. A lot of this book focuses on getting readers to really think about using their cool systems when making decisions, and focusing on how decisions will affect them in the future rather than just right now. And they say that really by connecting with your future self more on an emotional level, you can make decisions that will be better for you in the long run, and not just focus on the immediate rewards like they tested in the marshmallow test. And even though it is a major theme of this book to have self-control, they also go into the fact that having too much self-control isn't really good either, because you need a really good balance to live your life and be happy, or else you really tire yourself out and be worn out with all your self-control, even if it does end up benefiting you in the future. And another theme in this book is that people don't really inherently have good self-control in all aspects of their lives. You might be really good at doing all your homework on time and turning all your assignments in, but then you might have a really, really messy room and just not be able to clean your room at all. And Mischel uses the example of Bill Clinton for this, and because someone asked him about it before, and they were like, how come Bill Clinton can run for president and get a good education and have enough self-control for that, but doesn't really have enough self-control to avoid an affair in the White House? So that was the example he used for this topic. I thought this part of the book was really important because it really emphasizes how no one is perfect, and that even if you do have good self-control in one aspect, you're allowed to kind of not have it in another part of your life. Even if it might not be for the best, it is completely normal and okay. And not everyone has good self-control for everything. And one quote that Mitchell uses that I really liked is that when people ask him, how can I change myself? And what methods should I use? He tells them, would you like to change yourself? And that was really powerful because it kind of shows that if you're motivated and you want to put the time and effort into changing yourself for the better, then you will make it happen. But if you don't, then you'll just stay the same and be where you are with your life.